Your journey can only begin when the self-doubts stop. The first step is harnessing your bravery within. Believing in you is your host, Sean Dumas.
Hello and good day to you all. My name is Sean, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to another weight loss series episode on Bravery Within. Today, I don't know, some of this is probably going to scare you a little bit, and some of you are going to be so excited. Now that we're officially into the Burr months, September, October, November, and December, I got to thinking, maybe I should start talking about the holidays a little bit here. Mainly because if you're on your own weight loss journey like I am, it can be a little bit scary to navigate the waters as you're trying to make it through all of the holidays. So I thought today, episode 30 is going to be called Here Come the Holidays. So I know some of you out there are probably starting to shake thinking, oh my goodness, all that food I got to buy for Thanksgiving, the trick-or-treaters, the costumes, and then you've got, Christmas, and you got the cards, and okay, I'm done scaring you now. And I know we're a couple months away yet. I'm not arguing that point. But there's a lot of us that are pretty fired up about the holidays, and we love the Burr months, just mainly because fall's setting in. Life seems to slow down just a little bit more. Kids are back in school. It's just pretty much time to start slowing down and enjoying life just a little bit more. And I'll be honest, last year, when I was going through my first year on my weight loss journey, I hadn't been through any of the holidays yet. And to be very, very, very honest, I was terrified. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it through the holidays without completely chucking my whole journey right out the window. I got really freaked out. I talked with my son, Alex and stuff there, to find out what we can do, see what some of his thoughts were. And the nice part about it is we do he does kind of a split holiday there. Thanksgiving's done with his partner's family, and then he's home with me on Christmas. So I have, in years past, for, oh my goodness, probably 25 years, I made all the Thanksgiving dinners. I made the turkey. I made the stuffing from scratch. There's lefse, there's deviled eggs, there's cranberries, there's I could go on and on and on. Well, the worst part of it is I don't want to make you any more hungry than you're probably already starting, because I'm starving now. But I literally would make the whole meal from scratch. And there was times that I cooked for as many as 20 people for a holiday dinner. And I loved every minute of it. I loved cooking the Thanksgiving dinner, mainly because that food is the warmth, you're around the family and everything there. So with him being up there with his partners for the Thanksgiving and stuff there, I actually got out real easy last year and just got away with a little bit of turkey and some stuffing, some cranberries, and a few other things. Christmas was the hard one to get through. But before I get too far into that one there, let's back up here, because right now it's September, and the first holiday that we're going to run into is Halloween. Now, for the most part, for your weight loss journey, let's be honest, that's not going to be a really hard one to get through. Yes, we all love the sale discounts on the little candy bars that we all absolutely adore and love. And there's so many, you got your candy corn and the licorice it is just insane. The sugar companies and the candy companies, they must make enough money during this holiday to support them through the whole year, I would think. And I was a little worried about it, but I wasn't too bad, because, when you get the little kiddos that wander up onto the deck and beat on the door and stuff and yell trick or treat, I love seeing them. They're so amazing seeing them in their costumes, and they're smiling, and they're just really, really excited. And that was a lot of fun, but I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to keep myself from digging into that candy basket every time those little guys there walk up to the door? Well, it came up to a very simple solution. Didn't take me long to figure this one out, and I actually had my friend Rebecca, who was on episode 8 and stuff there, she actually come over and she handed out the candy. So that kept me away from the bowl. It kept the temptation away, and then we kept all the extra candy hidden in the cupboard. To be honest, it wasn't much of a temptation, mainly because I was on a pretty good clip by then. I had already been 10 months, almost 11 months into my journey, and a lot of my willpower was in place. I was able to walk by, there's all kinds of food that's always in the break room, and I was able to walk past it. We have muffins and cookies and cakes and Like today, we had bagels and stuff. I mean, it's just, there's always food there. And for the vast 99% of the time, I can walk past it and I'm just fine anymore. And I was getting in a pretty good clip because I was about 11 months into my journey at that point, so it wasn't too bad. So Halloween wasn't too bad to get through. So, I mean, for you, maybe have, your husband or wife or partner or kids or grandkids or whoever it is, have them hand the candy out to keep you away from the candy bowl, because it does make a little bit of a difference. I mean, yeah, I wanted to grab those Hershey bars, or I wanted to grab those Three Musketeers, or anything like that. Because that's just what you do. I mean, it's a holiday you're supposed to celebrate. So I stayed away from those, and luckily she came along and she helped out. And she handed the food out, or the candy out to the kids. So that made it nice and easy. So okay. Hurdle 1, we got past Halloween, no troubles whatsoever, didn't gain any weight. I continued on my journey and didn't chuck it out the window. So a month later, we all know, here comes Thanksgiving. And this one I actually wasn't too worried about. I mean, I am, because there's a lot of, Thanksgiving's all about comfort foods, let's be honest. It's just like, holy smokes, what am I going to do to get through this one? But one good thing that I got going for me, and we've talked about many times in the past, is my weight loss journey is protein heavy. I mean, 90% of my diet is protein. That's exactly what I focus on, because it protects my muscles, and it helps the body burn more. It keeps you a little bit warmer, and it helps you burn through the calories. And once you basically get through whatever you've eaten, then it goes to your fat reserves instead of going to helping out the muscles, because you build up your muscles, and that's what helps protect them a little bit, so that way they're not gobbled up by your body while it's trying to lose the fat. But let's be honest. I mean, you've got stuffing, you have got gravy, you've got rolls, you got scalloped corn. There's so many different things, and then they're all wonderful. They're all comfort foods. They're all just absolutely nummy, and that's all you want to eat. But the problem is, they're comfort foods. There was nothing in them. So what I had to do is I started out early on this one here, and that's why this episode is coming out mid-September, is to start basically helping you think about how you want to plan for the holidays. Now, I know a lot of people don't plan 2 months in advance for a holiday. Unfortunately, my family and I were already planning for Christmas. They've already got the food planned, and the napkins laid out, and the tablecloths. They're going crazy. I'm just sitting back and going, just tell me where to sit down, and I'll figure it out from there. But Thanksgiving can be not that difficult to get through, is what I've learned. Because a lot of people make turkey, a lot of people make ham. Well, those are your proteins right there. So that if you load up on those a little bit, that's going to help you. You have deviled eggs, which the devil part isn't the greatest, but you can have eggs. Those are protein. Salads, to help you get through. What I basically try to, you're going to have some carbs. We all know that. I mean, you're just not going to be able to say no to all of it. And honestly, I don't think you should, because you've worked so hard to get through your journey. Just because you have a little bit of stuffing, or you have a little bit of rice, or whatever you guys make for your Thanksgiving meal, you're going to have a little bit of it. And the way I look at it is, it's only one day, and as long as you don't go crazy on it all, you need to celebrate, and you need to be happy. You need to be able to sit with your family and enjoy the meal with them. That doesn't mean for the next 10 days you get to eat all this stuff by any way, shape or form. You still have to make sure you get back on the horse the next day. But one thing that I learned is I had my normal breakfast stuff. I had my sausage, I had my eggs, I made my omelet up and stuff there. So that way I front loaded on protein. So that way when I got to the actual meal at noon, I wasn't starving to death like what I had in years past. And what that did is it got me to that point. I made sure that I had a healthy snack at about the 10 o'clock mark, because when I'm out cooking and making all this wonderful stuff, and all these smells are wafting through the kitchen and into the house, you just automatically get hungry. So I wanted to make sure that I was going to be able to get myself through it without diving into the cheesecake that I made, or the hot fudge brownie that I made, or anything like that I'd made for the family. I wanted to make sure that I could get myself through it without digging into it. And let's be honest, I mean, back in the day, if there was a tube of raw cookie dough that was in the fridge, that was dead. It was, here I come, I'm going to just narf all the way through it. And I made sure I didn't have any of that stuff in the house. And everybody kind of, surprisingly, everybody was supportive of me of this, which is absolutely wonderful. I can't thank my family enough to help me get through the first set of holidays. And I made sure none of that stuff was in there. I front loaded on protein. I made sure my mid-morning snack was there and ready to go, just like normal. I kept myself on my routine and my normal schedule. And what that did is that helped me as I was making all of this stuff. Of course, when I'm home making, I home make the stuffing. You got your sausage and your celery and your poultry seasoning, and you've got your croutons and all this stuff there. And as I was making it, I typically would sample a little bit there just to see, because I wanted to make sure that it tastes. You get the seasonings right, because there's really no amount of it's not measured out. It's just pretty much, I've done it for 30 years, so you just pour this in and pour that in and and everything there. So you want to make sure that it tastes good. So I had just a little bit of it. But what I did was, because I was front loaded on protein to help me get through stuff, and I tried to make sure it was nothing but protein. So because those calories are the best calories that they can get for you. So I wasn't overly worried about watching my calorie count right at that point. And I wanted to make sure I left myself enough room so when I got into the meal, and then we all know that we snack after the meal. I mean, that's I think it's a requirement. But I made sure that, we pulled apart the turkey, and the turkey was sitting on the counter. So when I got that mood and that that craving to snack, I made sure I went to the ham and the turkey, because that's protein, and that helped. And I didn't feel at all through the whole thing, I never felt that I missed out. I didn't feel like I was cheating myself. I didn't feel like I was shorting myself. Nothing. I was enjoying the experience with my family. I still ate everything. I did have a little bit of stuffing. You have to have some carbs. But I didn't have, the half a bowl that I used to eat. I had a spoonful, and I put it on there, and I got through it there. And I had my cranberries, which you have to be careful with because those are loaded in sugar. But I had one little thing of cranberries, and the deviled eggs, which you got to be careful of that, because that has we use low-fat mayonnaise to make them. We cut every corner we could. We bought the low sodium stuff there to make things. We bought the low calorie, anything that we could, the mayonnaise, the mustard, all of that stuff, anything to basically start cutting the calories out. We knew we were going to make it. Let's be honest. Don't even try to buffalo yourself. Be honest with you. You're going to eat some of this stuff. You're going to sample. You're going to enjoy with your family. And yes, you're on a weight loss journey. I'm not arguing that point. But one thing that is that day is something special to us. That's when we're sitting down with our family or our friends or anything like that. However, some of us introverts spend it alone. I mean, I have spent holidays alone, and I'm fine with it. I like being able to watch what I want, eat what I want. I didn't have to do anything fancy. It was great. I had no problem with it whatsoever. But I knew, just like my whole weight loss journey, I had to be honest with myself right out of the shotgun, saying, yes, I know I'm going to be eating some of this. So if I know I'm going to be eating some of this, then how do I turn the tables to my favor? And that's when we sat down, and as I was going through, because I typically will start buying a month and a half ahead of time before the holidays, the food, to get all the preparation stuff. So that way it's not so hard on the checkbook all at once. I spread it out over a month and a half, and typically you can find good sales, so then you buy stuff that was on sale, so you can buy a little bit more. But as I was doing it, I made sure it was the low sodium stuff, low fat stuff, low calorie stuff, anything there. Because when you're mixing it all together, really, I couldn't tell a difference, to be very honest with you. And at 11 months into my journey, I'll be honest with you, I didn't want all that stuff. I mean, like I told you, the last time that I cheated big time was back at the 6-month mark, when I fell off the horse and I went to McDonald's and I bought $40 worth of food and ate about $1.75 worth. I mean, it was just really, really sad. But one thing that I learned through that, it taught me, is you crave it, but you don't eat as much of it as what you used to. And especially the sodium. Once I started eating, even with the low sodium stuff, when you really cut that out of your diet, out of your life, it's amazing how when you start loading up a little bit, or you load up on the carbs a little bit, just how rough you feel. And I'll be honest, I wasn't ready for that feeling. That completely caught me off guard, because I sat down and yes, like I said, I had my eggs, I had my ham, I had my cheese. I mean, I had all kinds of different flavored cheeses, and the ham. Anything that I could basically load up on, with protein to help me get through it, because if I could stay fuller, then I'm not going to snack as much either. So it really, really helped me to stay strong through all of this. But what I realized is, as I was eating, and I poured a little bit of gravy, not much. I had a couple tablespoons, which you're all probably saying a couple tablespoons, really, Sean, that's it. But trust me, when you spread that out and you use the packets, now, I make a lot of it from scratch, but I do use some packets there to kind of stretch it out. Those packets are so loaded with sugar. Yeah, that'd be a good one. Salt. It was crazy. When I started eating, it was like, oh, this just does not taste good. I ended up actually scraping all the gravy off of the turkey that I had poured it on, just so I could eat the turkey. I didn't like it as much as what I used to. A lot of the stuff there that was high in, the fat stuff there, even though we cut it back, I still didn't overly care for it, because it was so heavy and so much. And I learned that just because most of the stuff that you eat at Thanksgiving is very, very heavy. It's very, very, it's just like, whew, okay, this is true comfort food. But the thing that, I was like, okay, well, one, my taste buds changed. I didn't like some of the food that I'd grown up with and eaten and prepared and everything my whole life. I didn't like. It was like, this just doesn't taste good. I don't know what to think here. It actually kind of like, what do I do now? I mean, I literally was left like spinning in the mud. It's like, okay, I used to love this. What happened? I don't understand. Well, as you basically detoxify from all that stuff that I'm learning, your taste buds change, for a lack of better words. I don't know how else to explain it. As I was drafting up my notes on the episode, I was trying to figure out a good way, but the only way that I could figure out was my taste buds change. There's been so many foods since I've started my weight loss journey 21 months ago. There are so many things that I used to eat that I just don't anymore. I just don't have the taste for it. And once I tried them again, it was like that ended the cravings for them, because it was like, ew, I don't understand. Now, some of the stuff that I absolutely loved, I really wish I still could eat, because it's kind of heartbreaking, because there's certain cookie that you like, or even my lemon meringue pie. I just don't have the taste for it anymore. I actually bought one last year because I said, okay, I'm going to cut off a very, very small piece, because it's loaded in sugar, it's loaded in calories, blah, blah, blah. But that was my celebration dessert for doing good. As long as I got myself through the meal without blowing the heck out of it with all the carbs and the sugars and everything else, then I was I allowed myself to have a small piece of my lemon meringue pie. So I was so happy. I went through and got everything cleaned up, and I went to the fridge, pulled out the lemon meringue pie, cut myself just a small piece. And I held to that because I did everything else, and I took the first bite and I go, oh, is this old? I literally got up from my chair, went over to there, looked at the box, and looked at the expiration date, and it still was good for another year. And I'm going, okay, what's going on? So then I tried a second bite. Didn't care for it. And at that point, I ended up just scrapping the rest of the piece. And thank goodness that Alex's partner, she loves lemon meringue pie. She took one for the team and ate the whole thing. Thank goodness. But it broke my heart, because it's like, I love lemon meringue pie. I mean, like, what happened? And like I said, it's just changing of the taste buds. And there's so many things that you get that craving, and I don't recommend indulging the cravings right out of the shotgun if you're starting your weight loss journey. I couldn't. I had to stay strong, because I knew my willpower wasn't there. I knew that if I had one bite of something, then I'm going to have to it's kind of like a potato chip. When you have one potato chip, you gotta have the whole bag. I don't know where it's written in the laws someplace, but it's like, okay, you can't have just one. And they're right. I mean, that the marketing person that come up with that, you can't eat just one chip, is brilliant, because they're spot on. It's like, okay, yeah, you can't just have one chip. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's, something that we're programmed in the middle of the night and we didn't know it there, that we have to have, 100 tater chips instead of just one. Not sure, but, so I had to stay away from it. But when I was 11 months into, my weight loss when I hit Thanksgiving, approaching the 12-month mark. and my willpower was strong. I could walk by stuff. I was good. I was seeing dramatic results, so that really helped motivate me. I was down a couple pant sizes by then. My shirts were all falling off of me and everything. Everything was there. So, there was a lot of motivation. So thank goodness that I started my weight loss journey in that January before, because that gave me 11 months to start prepping, to get everything put into place, get my willpower up. For lack of better words, I needed that to get through. So that helped me through Thanksgiving. And I knew, and I had to be honest with myself, just like you have to be honest with yourself as well. You're going to snack. You're going to munch on this stuff. You're going to enjoy it a little bit. And honestly, if you're like me and you'd went 11 months and been good, then you deserve to have a meal or two, that day, basically one meal. You deserved to treat yourself. And I think if you've been going on that long, I think if you would probably, I'm not saying you would, but if you were to try some of the same things I did and you're 11 and a half months into your journey and you've been good, I think once you start eating some of those really super heavy carb sides that you get, you'll have some and you go, oh, okay, this isn't setting well. It's like a rock in your tummy. It was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know how I did it before. If you want to know the truth, that's the part that I've never been able to answer. Is like, how did I eat like that all the time and it didn't bother me? And I still don't have an answer for that. But I guess it's just you didn't know any different. You grew up that way. Your every day was that way, so you didn't know any different. So then when you break that routine, you break that cycle. It's like, holy cow, okay, now no wonder my body was fighting me and saying things like, yo, no more. We can't handle it anymore. It now makes a whole heck of a lot of sense. So getting through Thanksgiving actually wasn't that big of a deal. The one that honestly scared me was trying to get through Christmas. And the reason is, Christmas has always been super important to my family. It's always been a big deal. We go all out. We got the Christmas tree. The house is decked out, inside, outside, lights all over the place. But not only that, we didn't do any last year because of me, and I kind of ruined it, and I feel bad about that. We do a lot of Christmas baking, and that all, let me tell you, we do some baking when we do it. There were, my all-time favorite thing to eat was chocolate-covered cherries. I'd seriously go through probably 12, 15, maybe even 20 boxes in a season. I would just mow through those things. Those were my favoriteest things. And then we would make fudge, we would make divinity, we would make peanut brittle, brownies, several different types of cookies. We would make several different kinds of cakes and pies. We would have chocolate-covered pretzels, the white-covered chocolate pretzels, anything absolutely that really wasn't that great for you, we made them. And we were always looking for new and better things to make, because what we did is we made up a ton of, literally we would spend 2 days baking to put it all together, and we bought special tins, and we would hand those out instead of Christmas gifts. We would hand those out to people friends, family, colleagues, anybody that we could run across there, and we would hand this to them as a Christmas gift. So, there were times, I'm not kidding you, I bet we had 35 dozen cookies in the kitchen, in the living room, in the spare room. Any place that you could put food and cookies, it was there. Fudge-wise, we would make probably 10 pounds of fudge. Divinity, probably not quite that much, probably 5 pounds. That wasn't quite as popular, so we did that. We made peanut brittle, where you would put that in a cookie sheet, and you would make several cookie sheets to give those away. It was just literally we would spend between $200 and $300 on baking ingredients just to make all of that stuff, and we would hand it all out, and that was our way of saying, that we, Merry Christmas and we love you. But we didn't do it last year because, I'll be honest, I have good willpower, but I know there's no way in the world I would have made it through all of that stuff. I would have blown everything right out of the water. Now, being that my tastes have changed, I may not have eaten as much as I thought, but I wasn't willing to try it. I tried the chocolate-covered cherries. I'll be honest there. I tried one just to see because everything else had changed. I just didn't know, and I was like, okay, maybe the taste in these ones have changed as well. So I tried one, and they were good, but they weren't as good. But they were so sugar heavy. They were so sweet, and it's like I used to eat almost 24 boxes of these things. How in the world did I not keel over and die? I mean, good Lord. I mean, I don't know how my body made enough insulin to counteract the sugar. And I only had 2 or 3 of them through the whole season. That was it. I'm talking two or three pieces, not boxes, 2 or 3 pieces, because I'd have one, and that was enough sweets for 2 days. I mean, it was like, holy cow, what an overload. I mean, I learned so much going through the holidays last year. It blew me away. And I was good. I didn't have any of the brownies. I didn't have any of the cookies. I didn't have any of the cakes, the pies, the pretzels. I didn't even hardly have any hot chocolate, and I love hot chocolate. But I stayed away from it because I was too afraid. I had good willpower, but I wouldn't say that it was at 100% yet because it was my first holiday. I didn't know what to expect. I was terrified. I went through the whole holiday terrified because it's like I don't know what to expect. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know if I'm gonna chuck my whole journey out because I didn't want to. By the time I got to Christmas, I had almost a full year in on my weight loss journey, and it was like I didn't want to scrap this. I didn't want to run the risk of losing everything, of going backwards, because I was so afraid that if I started to eat this food, then I would go backwards. I wouldn't be able to say no. And then everything that I'd done for the whole past year, all the sacrifices, the changes, the money spent and everything there would have all been for nothing. So I stayed away from that, and I'm so grateful because my son was so looking forward to making all that stuff. And he gave that up for me last year, and I'll never be able to thank him enough for that. So we've kind of found a workaround on this one now. So he is going to do all this baking at another person's house. So that way he can get it out of his system, because he's so great with that stuff. And we love giving that all that food away to people to say, Merry Christmas and we love you. So to keep me away so they can do their traditions, we just can't do it at the house. And they invited me, well, why don't you come over and you can talk to us while we make all of it. No, we're not going down that road. I'm not strong enough to make. I'm good, and I'm proud of how far I come, and I can walk away from most food. Probably 98% of the food that I come in contact with, I can walk away. I'm proud of myself to be able to say that. Nobody can do it 100%. At some point, you're going to have a weak moment, and you're going to eat it, and it may not be much, but you're going to eat it. Nobody's 100%, and I think if you are 100%, then basically you must be an android. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be that lucky, and I envy you if you can do that. You're remarkable. Just know that you're amazing. I don't know what else to say. You are amazing. But they're gonna end up doing all this stuff at another house. Which I think they're going to be doing it at Rebecca's, so that they can have it, because it gets so hot with all that, and she loves the heat, so it'll be perfect while they do that stuff. But I'm so grateful that my family supported me so much last year through the first holidays. So that's one thing that we did. And Rebecca made all the food last year at her house for Christmas. I brought a couple things, but not much. But most everything, I did pretty much the same thing. And she was so wonderful about making sure that there was so many protein-heavy sides to help me get through. There was still stuff that was not good for me, but that went to everybody else, because the last thing I want is everybody's making enough sacrifices for me to help me get through the holidays. The last thing I wanted to do was take away absolutely everything. I wanted them to still be able to enjoy the food that they liked. I still wanted them, the drinks, whatever they wanted, the hot chocolate and the cider and all that stuff. I wanted them to be able to enjoy that. So she was so wonderful to make sure that there were so many protein-heavy items and not carb-heavy items. There was still plenty of carb stuff there for everybody else, which I was so glad for. And surprisingly, I did the same thing there. I had my omelet in the morning. I front-loaded on protein at my snack. And then when we got there at, I think it was 11:30, something like that there were snacks out, but she had put snacks out there that were protein heavy for me. So I could munch along with everybody else and didn't feel like an outcast, while also allowing everybody else to enjoy the foods that they liked. And it was just a really, really nice Christmas. It's one of the best Christmases I've had in a long time. And we enjoyed it, and it's planned again this year. So I can only assume she's doing the same thing. I don't know. She's got this list of I'm sure it's probably 6 or 7 pages long of everything she's going to make, because she loves to bake, she loves to cook. She's incredible at it. I don't know how she does it. I mean, I used to be pretty good, but she blows me out of the water. So I'm kind of curious to see what she's going to come up with this year. But one thing that, like I could tell you and stuff there, once you start, it depends on where you start your weight loss journey. Now, if you're going to start it now, you'll have about 2 months to get into it. It's going to make it a lot tougher to get through the holidays. I'm not going to lie about that one. I'm not sure I would. I know I wouldn't have been as strong if I had only been doing it for 2 months. There's no way that I would have been able to walk away from the foods, a lot of the foods that I did, because I had 12 months in, 11 and a half months in at Christmas time. So if worse comes to worse, I guess just be very, very careful with what you eat while you get through this holiday season, and then jump on board with your weight loss journey January 1st. But one thing that will make it a little bit easier is, as you're going through the holidays and stuff there, there's some things, even if you're on your own weight loss journey, like me, there's a few things that I wrote down, and I wanted to just basically let you know. These are some of the things that I think. Now, remember, I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a doctor. I'm not anybody important. I am just a single guy that works 40 hours a week, that takes care of his family, and does podcasts on the side to try to help people. And so these things that that my thoughts are, take them with a grain of salt. You can either do them, don't do them, whatever. It's up to you. But for these, I have looks like 6 things here that I wanted to bring up to help you get through the holidays. And these I can't stress enough, because all of these helped me get through. And I'm hoping maybe these will help you get through the holidays as well. The first one that I come up with is you need to be able to enjoy the holidays and some of the good food with your family and friends as well. That's why I said in the beginning there, find the low calorie stuff there that you can make, low calorie, low sodium, low fat. I know you're going to go through the store and you're like, oh, those don't have any flavor. Well, you can flavor them up with different spices and seasonings and still be able to enjoy with your family, because I think it's very, very crucial and important that you share the meal with your family and you spend the time with them and not feel ostracized because you're on a weight loss journey. That's not good, because that's not going to help you stick to it. So that's why I found ways of front loading my protein, and so that way I could get through. And yes, I admit I had a little bit of stuffing. I had a little bit of mashed taters, and I didn't have any butter on them or anything like that there. I just put a little bit of gravy, very, very little, because it was, all gravy is salty. That's just the way it is. It wasn't anything that Rebecca did. It wasn't anything I did when I made it. It's just the way it is. But I had a little bit so I could enjoy with my family. And it made me feel good, because it was like, okay, well, I got through this, and I can do this. I'm strong enough. I get to eat with my family. I'm sitting at the same table. I'm enjoying the same food. It made things so much easier. So you have to be able to enjoy the holidays. So you just have to plan ahead a little bit further than what you normally do, and try to find, low calorie, low carb, low sodium, all that stuff. It will make a difference, because you're going to snack. You're going to eat some of it. So if you can, try to bend the odds in your favor a little bit and just use the lower calorie stuff. It'll help. The next thing that I came up with is you might go a little overboard a little bit as well, but you cannot let that derail your entire journey. The holidays are something that are very special to us. There's no doubt about it. It's a rare time that we get with our family and friends, where we get to spend the whole day with them and get to talk and catch up, because this world is so crazy anymore. We don't get to do that anymore. We don't get to spend a lot of time with them. So when you get the time to spend with them, and you need to enjoy the meal, and if you go overboard a little bit, it's only one meal and it's only in one day. The world is not going to end, and it's all right. Reward yourself a little bit for doing a fantastic job on your weight loss journey. And I know there's probably going to be dietitians and doctors and everybody else that says out there that are going to scream at me, and I'll probably get emails that says there, you shouldn't have said that or whatever. But this is what helped me get through the holidays. All I'm doing is I'm just telling you, this is what I did to get through. I didn't go overboard. This is the one thing I didn't do. I got lucky. I was afraid I was going to, but I also know that if I did go overboard a little bit, it wasn't going to end the world. I knew on December 26th, I was back on track, right back on eating what I was supposed to, when I'm not supposed to, and all that stuff. I knew I was going to be able to get back on board that way. I wasn't going to allow myself to slip, and I wasn't going to throw almost 12 months worth of a weight loss journey out the window. So by having a little bit extra, the world didn't end. The next one, this one, honestly, I can't stress this one enough. Get rid of the thinking of all or nothing before you even get started. There is a happy medium that you can get to so you can eat and still stay on your journey. Thinking that, okay, well, I can't have absolutely none, or I can have it all. That is the land of extremes, and that's what's destroying this family. We have to find a way to make a happy medium, and that's why I keep stressing. Front load your protein. The low sodium, low calorie, low fat, all of that stuff. Get the odds in your favor. You know you're going to do it. But get away from that all or nothing thing. Saying that, okay, well, I ate this. My weight loss journey is scrapped. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to give up and go back to normal tomorrow. No, don't think that way. Get away from that all or nothing thinking. I can't stress that enough because I started that thinking in the beginning saying, oh, there's absolutely nothing I can have. Don't cut corners. Don't cheat. No nothing. Now, I'm not saying that you can, for the next week, eat all of this really calorie-rich food and carb-rich food for a week. That's not it. You can't do that. But if you enjoy one meal on one day, the world is not going to end. You're not going to throw your journey out the window. And in some respects, you might be like me and find that some of that food is like, oh, okay, I can't eat this anymore because it's too heavy or too greasy or too this or that. Whatever you guys make for your holidays, you may find that it's like, okay, I can't go really back down that road anymore. So, I mean, get out of the all or nothing thinking. Find a happy medium place there and just kind of hover around in that area. That's what I do. And it's gotten me 220 pounds lighter. I mean, there's apparently what I'm doing is working. I'm just hoping that it'll work for you a little bit more. Next thing that I come up with is, should you derail and completely mess up, don't be too hard on yourself. Give yourself a break. It's the holidays. You are meant to connect with your family and friends. That one meal, if you blow the heck out of it there and eat a bunch of extra calories, don't let that destroy your weight loss journey. I can't stress this one enough. It was one meal, or even if you have a second meal, say you have dinner, then you have supper, and you have those two meals and they're super, super heavy, and you blow the heck out of your calories, and you eat an extra 3,000 calories that day. That one day is not going to end everything. Go back to your normal eating habits on December 26th or whatever the Friday is after Thanksgiving, and get yourself back on track and just keep right on going. Don't let it destroy your weight loss journey. Don't let it destroy your morale and everything else. You are spending time with your family and friends. That's what we work for all year round. That's the reason why we bought the Christmas presents. That's why we bought all of this extra food. All of this stuff here is designed for us to connect with our loved ones. That's what all of this is for. And we have always done that by sitting around a table or sitting around someplace there and enjoying a meal together. So if you completely mess up, don't throw everything out the window. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's only one day, one meal. The world is not going to end. Give yourself a break. Be easy on yourself and enjoy. We don't get enough time with our families anymore. We don't get enough time with our friends. We don't spend enough time at home just enjoying the little things in life. And before you know it, it's past and you cannot get that time back. So if you enjoy one meal with your family and you just blow the heck out of the calories that one day, so be it. Just get yourself back on track the next day. Do not feel guilt-ridden and do not let it bother you. You know that you're gonna be jumping back on. Now, like I said, you can't do it for a week. Don't even do it for 2 days in a row. You just can't do it. Get yourself back on track and get yourself moving again. And like I said, you'll work through it, but maybe you'll run into like what I did. And I ran into where a lot of that food is just like, no, I can't do this anymore. This is just, no, it's too heavy. It's too icky. Do I miss it? Oh my goodness, yes, I do. Without a doubt, I miss all of that food. But what I am so grateful for is my family and being there with them. To see the smiles on their face, I would just sit at the table or I'd sit in the living room And to see their smiles, their laughing, we would play cards. We would joke with each other. We would, and we would munch. And when I munched, I made sure that I had the good munchies to go with it. And I'm so proud of myself because I went through the whole season and I didn't gain any weight. I was so proud of myself. And because I just planned ahead and got ready for the holidays. And that's why I'm doing this podcast a couple months early before the holidays here, is I want to give you the best possible chances of getting through the holidays and not feel guilty about it without gaining, until you gain a pound or two. The world isn't going to end on that one day. Like I said, get yourself back on track the next day and continue on like normal. As long as you do that, it's okay. Just enjoy it. It means more that you get to spend time with your family, your friends, whoever you spend it with. Enjoy their company. Enjoy the time together, because that time just doesn't come again. So you have to be really, really careful. And the last thing that I brought up, because I kind of slammed two of those things together, but the last one is take what you learned to get through this holiday and apply it to a better and healthier decisions next year. And that's what I'm doing for this year, because this will be my second run through on the holidays. I'm going to take what I learned last year and make it a little bit better. But I did so well last year that I don't know if I really need to change a whole lot. But what I'm so proud of is I'm down over 220 pounds. I mean, I'm down 5 pant sizes, 2 shirt. I mean, I could really be into 33 shirt sizes down, but I just don't feel overly comfortable yet. So I'm not calling it yet, but I'm down 2 full pant sizes. I mean, today I went into a gentleman's office, one of the salesman's office today, and talked to him, and I ended up sitting in one of those dinky chairs that I never could even get one butt cheek in before, and I sat in it, and I sat in it comfortably. And it's those things that tell you how far you've come, and those are the things that give you the motivation that help pull you through when you have those weak moments. But what I'll do is I'm figuring out what I can and can't eat. And the nice part about it is, yes, I'm still going to probably have a little bit of stuffing, a little bit of scalloped corn, and I probably won't have any gravy, to be honest. And I'm sure my whole family just passed out in heart failure for me saying I'm not going to have any gravy. I used to have, at least a 55-gallon drum of gravy on all my food whenever I ate. And I probably won't have any this year because it is so heavy in sodium that it's just, I don't like putting that much into my body anymore. And I know that sounds so, I don't know if I really have a good word for it, but it just sounds so self-absorbed, I guess is probably the word, one of the words I'm going for. I set myself up to win. That's why I'm doing this podcast a couple months early. Because if you're not on your weight loss journey, if you're thinking about jumping on it at January 1st, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, why not stack the odds in your favor when you do this and not gain 10 or 15 pounds through the holidays, because you have to take that back off. Front load your advantages, front load everything that you can, and basically take the house that always wins and take those odds and turn them into your favor to win. And that's what I learned from last holiday was, okay, this is what I can eat, what I can't eat, how am I going to best get through it, and I'm going to apply it to this year and be a little bit better. I don't have to make many changes because somehow, some way I screwed up and did good last year. I don't know how, but the only thing that I can say there is my family was absolutely wonderful to help get me through. They were very careful about, because they would get candies from work, they would get, treats and everything else. Well, they just made sure that I just didn't see it and I didn't smell it. They were wonderful about it. They either kept it at work or wherever they hid it, I don't know, but they did a good job at it. But through the meals and stuff, everything went well. We were just careful in how we prepared everything and what we did. So take what you learned, what you're going to learn going through the holidays this year. It doesn't matter if you're on your weight loss journey now. It doesn't matter if you only started it a week ago, 6 months ago, or 3.5 minutes ago. It doesn't matter. When you take whatever you learned to get through this holiday and get yourself figured out to where, okay, I can't have this, I can't have that. And like I said, front load the odds in your favor. get the low calorie stuff, get the low carb stuff, get the low sodium stuff. There's all kinds of that stuff out there. You just have to go looking for it a little bit more and basically change your way of thinking, because it's like, oh no, that can't have any good flavor. Well, they've done a remarkable job, the food companies have. They've done a remarkable job at getting that stuff to taste a little bit better. And you're going to find that by eating those lower calorie, carb, and all that stuff there, you'll feel better. And then you don't feel quite as guilty, which you shouldn't feel guilty anyway, but even we all know you're going to eat stuff you shouldn't eat. So if you're going to eat it, turn the odds in your favor. And that's what I did last year, and it made a monstrous difference on making it easier to get through. Because, like I said, I ate last year on Christmas. I had turkey, I had ham, I made sure I made up steak, so I could just grab steak and eat that. Cheese, deviled eggs. I did have lefse, and that's just potato bread. It's real thin German bread, or Norwegian is what it is and stuff there. It's just real thin bread, and we've always had that, for every, Christmas, Thanksgiving. We absolutely love it. And surprisingly, it's really low in calories, really low. If you're going to have a bread, I recommend lefse. It's amazing because it still has good flavor. You put a little bit of butter on it. Some people have been known to put brown sugar and regular sugar on it to give it a little bit more flavor. But if you need, like me, once in a while you just need that bread taste and you just need to have it, the lefse is actually a good thing. I had a little bit of stuffing. I had a little bit of gravy like we talked about, which I probably won't have any this year. And surprisingly, and you all know how I feel about vegetables, I actually had a little bit of celery and a little bit of baby carrots. And that's basically everything that I ate, and I stuck to the protein as much as I could to help me get through it. And yes, I had one very small piece of cheesecake with cherries on it, and that was my treat for doing a good job all day and doing everything right. So I treated myself to that. And you know what? I'm still over 220 pounds down. I didn't gain anything through it because I did everything I could to turn the odds in my favor. And that's how I did it, and that's how I got through the holidays. Yes, my family helped me. No arguments there. But I wanted to do everything I can to basically make sure I set myself up to win. So load the proteins front, basically still have breakfast. Make sure you have an omelet. I mean, it's amazing how far that will pull you to get you through the meal. Because if you can stay a little bit fuller before you hit the meal, you're going to get through the stuff without eating quite so much. But I recommend, if you haven't gone through the holidays, try a small amounts of the foods that you liked. If you've been on the weight loss journey for a while, your taste buds may have changed. It may be easier to get through this than what you think. Because if your taste buds have changed and it says, ooh, I don't like that anymore, or ooh, that's too salty, or something like that basically you can write that off and you're not going to want to eat it anymore, which is going to help you. And then you can put that in your Rolodex for next year and say, okay, well, that one, yes, it may, in your head, you may be craving it, but your tummy is going to say, no, not quite so much. That's what I learned getting through the holidays last year, and that's how I got through them. Like I said, this year is going to be a little more interesting because my family is going to be making all those snacks and stuff. So I'll just have to make sure that I keep a safe distance from them. But I have to be honest, I'm 21 months at this point, 21 months into my weight loss journey. I'm not even sure that I would even dive into them anymore. I was so heartbroken about not being able to have my lemon meringue pie anymore, and I was heartbroken about not having my chocolate-covered cherries. It kind of took the fun out of eating all the sweets. So, to be honest, I haven't had fudge. I didn't have the divinity. I didn't have the pretzels, nothing like that. So, I'm thinking this year will be easier. I could be wrong, but that's my current thought. And like I said, I won't know until I get to the holidays and find out. But I'm still going to have a little bit of stuffing. I'll still have a little bit of scalloped corn. But you'd be surprised when you don't eat that stuff as much. You don't need as much when you're on your weight loss journey because it's overwhelming. It's heavy, and it's like, whew, okay, that's a lot. Don't really want to go down that road again. And for me, when I get an upset stomach, I just drink a Sprite to settle everything down. I have a little bit there, and that for some reason, I don't know if it's the carbonation or whatever it is, but it settles my tummy down. And yeah, it's a few calories, but I have to be careful with that. But if it helps me get through stuff, that's make or break. That's what I'm gonna end up doing. So just all I can say is if you do overeat, Don't let that destroy your holiday. Don't let that destroy your weight loss journey. I can't stress that enough. Have the one day, enjoy it with your family, be there with them. That's what we work so hard for all year for, is basically to spend 2 days with them. And I know family's different for everybody, and they can drive you crazy. I'm not arguing that point. But don't let the food and the stress of your weight loss journey take away from the holidays and take away from your family. Still enjoy them. And like I said, if for some reason you just go teetotal and crazy and blow everything right out of the water, get yourself back on the horse the next day, not 2 or 3 days down the road, the next day, and get back on your weight loss journey. The world isn't going to end. You'll be fine. And take what you've learned from this holiday season and apply it to next year. So that way you can be better, stronger, and you'll be in a better position to be able to handle them when they roll around next year. So that's the whole reason that I did this podcast earlier, is to try to give you an edge, try to hedge the odds in your favor a little bit more to get through the holidays so you can enjoy them and enjoy the family that we all love. We all love our friends and family. So don't take that away from them, and enjoy yourself. Don't feel guilty about it. So I'm looking at the time on my monitor, and looks like I'm pretty well out of time as always. But before I get to everybody's favorite, the dad joke of the day, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to my podcast. Remember, you got this. I believe in you. I know you're going to make it to the finish line, and I want to be your biggest cheerleader to help you get across that finish line. And I'm hoping there's something in these podcasts that will help you. So please like, share, comment, all kinds of things, whatever you can do. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. YouTube is going crazy. It's fantastic. All the episodes are neatly lined up and easy to find. They're nice and organized. So any kind of, subscribers would be really, really help. Tell your friends and family, especially through the holiday season. Maybe these weight loss episodes can help them get through the holidays as well. That's all I can hope for. So if you guys are ready to go, I am going to end this podcast with the normal dad joke of the day, because I know all of you love them out there. So if you're ready, here we go. Do you know how the telephone proposed to his girlfriend? He gave her a ring. I love that one. I couldn't even hardly type that one up on my notes when I read that one. It's so funny. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are amazing. You got this. I believe in you. Thanks for listening in. You guys are the absolute best. Share it as much as you can. And as always, all my love and support, Sean.